Many of you, like myself, come from or are in a blended family. Personally, I am both. I come from a family of five children, by which my mom, Kathy, had me, and my dad, Rick, had Ricky and Jamie, and they got married. My dad adopted me, and my last name was changed. And then they had my brother and sister, Rebecca and Daniel. So we are blended in every possible way that one family can be blended and knitted together. My parents came from very difficult homes, including my dad's mother being married 9 times throughout her life, and very difficult home at times that my mother grew up in as well. And they had both come out of relationships that didn't go well and ended in separation and divorce. And thankfully, when my parents got married and had this blended family, they were resolute when they came together and said that the dysfunction and the sin and the brokenness and the divorce was going to stop here. They decided that as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord, and we're going to take this blended family, what's all mixed into one. And from this point, we can't do anything about the past, but from this point, we're going to follow the Lord. My family's a blended family. Even I married my wife, Amy. She had a son, Ethan. He was 6 years old when we started dating, and he was 7 years old when we got married. There was a child in our home from the first day we were married. We didn't have a lot of bonding time together. And I remember one particular car ride when we were actually on our way from our house to my parents' house. And I can tell you exactly where I was at on Trousdale Ferry when a conversation that was struck up by my stepson, Ethan, that honestly nearly broke me and made me feel like I couldn't do this. We're riding down the road, and Ethan says, "Mom, why can't you and Dad just be together? Why can't you and Dad be together and Ryan can be the brother and we can all just live together?" And I initially thought, I can think of a few logistical issues. But in a 7-year-old's mind, that made perfect sense. Why can't we just be a family? Why can't we all just be together? See, a 7-year-old doesn't understand sin. They don't understand divorce. They don't understand. And here's what it comes down to with a blended family. When we get outside of God's perfect design for marriage and for having children and the way that should go, it is very difficult for children to understand very adult situations we are putting them into. Pretty much everyone here either came from a divorced home, you've lived through a divorced home, or someone in your family has. Maybe you're even a grandparent and you've stayed married your whole life, but maybe your kids have been through it. Pretty much all of us have been touched by this at some point. Verse 20, children, obey your parents in everything. This seems like a simple directive. Children, obey your parents in everything. Now imagine you're a child whose parental situation has been altered from simply a biological mother and father. Children may ask themselves, which parents? Mom and her new husband go to church and are really strict, while dad and his new girlfriend let me pretty much do whatever I want. So exactly which parents are they supposed to obey? They're being shown two different ways of life. The truth is that our sin, brokenness, and hardness of heart, as Jesus talks about in Matthew chapter 19, verse 8, leads to destructive families and home situations that leave children stuck in the middle. This is not the design of the Father, but instead it is the work of Satan and the desires of the flesh manifesting into fruition. See, the situation for children in a blended family is not of their making. It is one of the adults in their lives. In a tumultuous home life or a divorce or a blended family, the child is the one who is the victim, and they have no way to get out or escape. I want you to really think about that as we talk about blended families. The children can't just leave. You may be in a home or a marriage that even there are biblical grounds for divorce, and you could leave, or maybe you want to go the way of the world and decide, I want to go find myself, and I want to go out there and see what's out there for me. But what we have to remember in all that is there are children that are captive to you in this mess. And too often we want to have children, but we don't want the responsibility of the commitments we made at the beginning. And the children can't get out. God has given us children to raise as a gift, and we are held accountable for the choices that affect them. Too often in our culture, people say things like, well, kids are resilient. They'll be okay. They'll get over it. They'll adjust. Yeah, they will, but that is not their job. What we're doing is we're taking children who are not yet mature enough to deal with these things and forcing them to handle things on a mental and emotional and spiritual level that are well beyond their years. They already live in a world that's inundating them with things beyond their years on a day-to-day basis. And then in our family lives, we're giving them another. And then we're wondering, what's wrong with this generation? Things you need to understand. If you have a blended family or there's one in your family, this is confusing for them. There's a broken trust towards adults. Consciously or unconsciously, the child believes that they have some level of fault. They will attempt to play adults against each other. If they see weakness in the new set of parents, they will attempt to exploit that void. They subconsciously crave discipline and structure, and they desperately desire a place that is safe and built on the love of God. They want a safe space because much of their life has not been safe. It's not been able to be trustworthy. Children need discipline. Proverbs chapter 3, my son, do not regard lightly the discipline of the Lord, nor be weary when reproved by him. For the Lord disciplines the one he loves and chastises every son in whom he receives. Hebrews 12, 7 and 8. It is for discipline that you have to endure. God is treating you as sons. For what son is there from the Father he does not discipline? If you are left without discipline, in which all have participated, then you are illegitimate children and not sons. The Bible makes it clear that if you have a son or a daughter, or you have someone that you love, you discipline them. It shows them that you care, that they are yours, that you love them. It's just like when a child is playing near a cliff and you say, don't go over there. You discipline them when they do it. You do those for love's sake because you are teaching them, you are training them, you are reproving them. The parent who loves and cares disciplines their child. We need it from the Lord as adults as well. We all need discipline. Biological, adopted, and stepchildren all need discipline from their parents and caregivers. Sons and daughters are disciplined by their parents because we love them and we care enough to correct them. Discipline without love will always equal rebellion. Love without discipline is chaos, but love and discipline equal life. If you have children and you discipline them, but you don't love them, they will rebel because they will see you as all rules and no love. If you are all love and grace and no rules, you will have chaos because they'll have no guide of what the lines are of what's right and wrong or what's good or bad. But if you can get in that rare sweet spot of where you love and discipline, where you have truth and love, if you can get in that space where you have both, you will have great life with your children.